This podcast contains explicit adult content, mature themes, and candid conversations about sex, dominance, power exchange, and ethical non-monogamy. It is intended for audiences 18 and over only. Listener discretion is advised. The views expressed by our guests are theirs alone and do not necessarily reflect the views or values of the hosts, producers, or affiliated brands. The Bull Brotherhood podcast is for educational, entertainment, and empowerment purposes only. Nothing in this podcast should be interpreted as legal advice, medical guidance, or psychological counseling. We speak from experience, not credentials. Always practice consent, respect the boundaries of others, and follow local laws. If you're not comfortable with frank talk about sex, kink, dominance, or emotional power, this probably isn't the show for you. But if you're ready to step into your masculine edge and embrace a lifestyle that demands mastery, welcome to the Brotherhood.
Welcome to the Bull Brotherhood podcast, where we talk power, pleasure, and the art of dominance in ethical non-monogamy. This is not your average lifestyle podcast. This is for men who lead, men who master, and men who leave a lasting impression. If you're here, you're not just curious. You're ready to elevate. So to all the bulls, hot wives, stags, and open-minded explorers, we see you. Let's go.
Oh yeah, clean the mind, train the body on the soul. Deep connections built on trust, and a circle from conversations to the passion.
Good evening, and welcome to another informative episode of the Bull Brotherhood podcast. I'm the Sigma male himself, Mr. Brian Morgan, 1/3 of this lovely podcast, along with my beautiful, beautiful partner and his wife, the lovely Siren. Say hello.
Hello.
And of course, my nephew and partner in crime, my perpetual student, as he is called, Socrates. What's good?
It was good, y'all.
All right, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very, very special guest tonight. And I do mean, when I say very special, I can't tell you just how much this brother means to me. All right. We yeah, we just recently met, to tell you the truth. I mean, I knew who he was from previous Splash Mochas, but he and I are really as he would say, we are each other's doppelganger. We really are. You know him from his very, very informative podcast known as the Old Faces podcast, along with his lovely, lovely wife, Mrs. Mocha. But I call him Dark Gable because that's what he is. All right, about 220 pounds full of damn just chocolate. You know what I mean? The women love him. All right,
Muscle on
he's the
muscle on
women's
muscle.
pet. The men's exactly. He's the women's pet. The men's regret. All right, man of steel with sex appeal. That's all it is to it. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you Mr. Mocha. What's going on, Dad?
Everybody? Hey, I keep telling you, you keep overselling me, people gonna get mad at you.
Hey,
They're gonna
man.
get mad at
Hey.
you for overselling the product, man. Come on.
Hey man, I just call it like I see it, baby. That's all it is to it. What's good with my brother from another mother? You all right?
Hey, I appreciate you guys having me on. I'm excited.
Oh, absolutely, man. We this is just the first of the brothers, the true brothers from the brotherhood. You know, we kick it off with you. Of course, we're gonna hit down south in Florida, yeah, to Mr. Velvet himself, and then take it on back up north. Of course, with Michael C. But here again, man, it is a pleasure to have you up here tonight, and we just gonna kick it. I mean, we're gonna kick it and ask you some questions. After you give us a description of like how you got into this life, where you're from, just et cetera, et cetera. All right, so kick it off.
Oh man, you putting it all on me?
I'm just saying,
uh,
man. Just let the people know, where you're from. You know what I'm saying? How long you been in this life? What this life means to you, et cetera, baby.
all right, so I'm originally from upstate New York. Um, I've been in lifestyle since I was 23. I'll be 47 in a few weeks. Um, Man, what got me? I mean, what's got me into the lifestyle? I mean, my introduction to the lifestyle was actually a coworker. Um, I mean, obviously, I had been promiscuous, but what got me into the lifestyle was a coworker. Somebody I had
Hmm.
worked with for a while. Really good friends. His wife, back then I think she was probably in her early 40s, fucking gorgeous woman. Everybody that was a wife that everybody looked at, but you didn't want to be disrespectful to your buddy. We go out and things like that. And one night we were all out drinking, and he just dropped it on me, and I was, I've been wanting to fuck her anyway, so the opportunity rose, and I did it, and I was obviously nervous, but I did it, and then they put me into their circle, and it just so happened that the circle of people that they introduced me to was more of a hot wife circle. Um, the circle they introduced me to, and it was a very, I mean, they were obviously, now now I say this, but to me at that time they were all older people, but they were all my age now, so I guess I qualify as the older people. But they were all, they were all older, they were all, affluent. There was it was just a cool, happy, drama-free environment. Well, as drama-free as through my eyes at that time, I didn't have the experience to recognize drama, and it just seemed like a fun, awesome group, and that, yeah, that was my introduction to it. That the hot wife experience, where you had a lot of husbands who were super cool and like, oh yeah, fuck my wife. I'm like, okay, I will. So that was my introduction to the lifestyle.
Mr. Mocha.
It's amazing how. Go ahead, Socrates.
Yeah, Mr. Mocha. So I want to get a little deeper into that. So what was your thoughts the next day or the few days after that? Like, what was going through your head? Like, oh, this is the shit right here. Like, I'm about to jump in. Or were you like trying to process, like, what the fuck just happened? Like, what were you thinking?
Oh, so actually, I was just, I was on cloud nine. Um,
Good answer, brother. Anything less would have been.
yeah, I was, I was on cloud nine. In fact, my buddy had to tell me to calm down, because we went out like a week later. We went out, and me, him, and his wife, and I'm thinking like I didn't know. I speak today with information, but at that time I didn't know there was a such thing as hot wifing. All I knew is they said that they were swingers. He didn't specify hot wifing. And I thought that it just meant that, oh, you guys can fuck whoever you want, and now I can look at hot women and in front of you and your wife and point out hot women. So we're out. I think it was a lunch. I think we were out for lunch because we worked together, and she would always, because the gym was right across the street from where we worked at, and he was like, "Hey, let's go to lunch." So three of us went to lunch, and this really attractive woman walked by, and I was like, "Hey, look at that." And then we went back to work. He was like, bro, you can't do that. He was like, that's outside the rules. I'm like, oh, what? You're not allowed to look at? He was like, well, he was like, that's complicated. But, she's the only one who we focus our attention on. And I'm like, cool. I don't know the rules. You got to educate me. So, he explained their rules to me after that. But yeah, I was excited, and I didn't want to assume that it was going to happen again. But they not only did it happen again, but they introduced me to friends, so it was great.
When they asked you to go to lunch, though, that was the green light. That was the green light for you. You may not have realized it, but they had already gone back to the house, and hell, they had already discussed you anyway. They had discussed you for a long time before he finally approached you. It's amazing how our stories are kind of similar. You know what I mean? Me meeting Sylvia Garrett like I did, and she introducing me to her, friends, and they were all like just like yours, affluent and making money, et cetera, et cetera. I didn't know what the hell was going on. All I know is I'm meeting, folks that, damn, I've seen this person before, they're on the news channel and all that stuff. But they had already given you the green light, Mocha. They had already given you the green light. But you were just like me. You were 23, I was 26. All I know was that I had this beautiful damn woman, and I, I'm giving permission to them, to fuck, and and the terminology, hot wifing, and all that stuff like that. It was the same, I guess, the same here as it was overseas. We didn't have the term then, we didn't have the term. All I knew was damn swinging. That was it. But I knew that this wasn't swinging because the husband didn't, had no desire to, to have sex with anybody. He was just happy that, I had the wife. So that's amazing. But
Yeah.
um, when did you realize, or did it become? Was she just like a plaything to you, or did you guys really develop, a great like relationship, or what? I mean, how far did it go before Mocha said, "Okay, I'm a bull now"? When you know what I'm saying? When you realized you were like,
the bull concept came far, far down the road.
okay,
As far as them, the thing was they were my friends before we did it.
mm-hmm.
And because of the people we worked around, he took a big risk even approaching me with it, because we worked around some loudmouth savages that would, had they found out, they would have roasted him.
Yeah.
So he took a big risk, and it was our friendship. And so, they were, it was kind of, it was, they did it the way I like it. They were always really cool. They were never thirsty. The friendship remained with friendship because he made it very clear. Here's the deal. We are only this way. Even if we're out in public, we still follow old rules. Only time we do anything extra is when we're behind closed doors. So if somebody walks past our table, they should never know. Even the night that I played with them the first time and we left the bar together, that was a whole bunch of people from work. And the way he got us out of there, the way we left, no one ever knew. So, he started to really develop the protocol, so that's why even now if I'm out with the couple, I'm very much a gentleman in public. In public, unless you give me the green light to be anything more than just, your husband's friend, I don't do anything else. So that relationship was just really cool. I mean, that was a great, great relationship. They connect me with a lot of good people. And, we were good. We were close until they moved out of state. So that was, and even we still will occasionally reach out to each other on Facebook.
Outstanding. Outstanding. You made an impression. Socrates, Siren, I know
She
y'all.
made the impression on that one. Hey, the impression was all hers.
I heard that.
Shit.
I heard that. She sounded like she was gorgeous and shit. The way you damn talking,
Woo.
she sounded like she was drop dead beautiful.
Oh, man.
Man, wow. Socrates, Siren, are you there?
Yes, sir.
I think he was taking a little nap over there.
I know, right? I know y'all want to
What if
jump
my
in.
mouth was busy? You don't know.
No.
We do.
Oh,
In that
okay.
case, carry on.
While I'm listening,
Yeah,
you never
exactly.
know.
No.
Exactly.
We do not want to interrupt that.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. By
I
all
like to keep
means.
the mystery
By all
alive.
means.
You know I got 1,000 questions. So
I know you do. Go ahead.
so the introduction part. Did they ever relay to you what they were saying to their friends? That's because that's always the most interesting thing. Is like when you're referring me, what are you saying? And that's always intrigued me. So do you know what were they saying about Mr. Mocha to be like, yeah, he's a good time. I think you should, check that out.
Well, so actually the next time, a few weeks after the first time we played, they said, "Hey, we want you to come to this party with us." So that was my first lifestyle house party, and they didn't say what it was, and I was hoping it was what it was, but this is something that ladies may not understand, but every dude knows this feeling where you're like, I hope it's gonna happen. I hope my dick's gonna wind up in the mouth, but I'm not gonna get super excited because as soon as I act like I'm happy about it, something's gonna fuck it up. So I just got there, walked into the house, huge house, mansion, beautiful house, and I'm in this house, and I'm like, the ladies are real skimpy dressed, but I'm not gonna assume everybody's being extra friendly. I'm not gonna assume. We go down to the basement and to the bar, and there's topless women, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is what it is. And my heart was pounding out of my chest, and I was trying to act like I was cool. Like, yes, ain't nothing, I'm good. Oh man, I do this. This is just a Tuesday to me. But I was terrified. And that was them introducing me to their friend group. Now, obviously, now knowing what I know now, that means that they would have already had a conversation. They would have already shown pictures of me. They would have already, told them, hey, I'm bringing this single black dude to a party. He's a good guy. And then the reception I got once I got there, oh, this is him type thing. Like, oh, okay. So going back, looking at it, I understand a lot of things that were happening. But at the time, there was no understanding of this. All I knew is these are my friends. They wanted me to come to a party with them. They trusted me. I went there. Me and my 23-year-old dick, we laid down the law. And then after that,
Is that the name of your penis? Law.
I got phone calls. Huh?
That's the name of your penis.
No,
Law.
I referred to my
down.
penis. My penis. No. His name is the Precious.
The Precious.
That's his name. The Precious.
Next time I talk to your wife,
funny,
I'm gonna tell her. I'm gonna mention that. And be like, how's the Precious?
What's funny is, a friend of mine named. Okay, I'm going off topic. So one of my boys I used to always party with, he's the one, and he was like picking on me, and he was like, man, what are you doing to these chicks? From now on, your dick, you need to call your dick the Precious. And so he started cracking jokes, but I'd never seen the movie, so I had no idea what the fuck he was talking about. I thought he was talking about the movie Precious with the big girl. So I'm like, he was like, You never seen Lord of the Rings or something like that. So that's when I wanted to see that movie for the first time, just to see what the fuck the Precious was, and I laughed. I laughed for so long because
my
so
goodness.
unfortunately, you know, me and my young uncouth mind, I was having. He knew like 2 or 3 of the women at the time that I was having sex with, and he was like, "Dude, why they're going crazy? What are you doing?" Like, and so that's how that was how we that's how I became the Precious. That was the joke behind that.
At least there's a good story.
Now it's old, so it's no longer the Precious. Now I refer to it as the little fella.
Yes. Socrates calls his micropenis.
There you go. You know,
That way, you know, anything above that is a surprise, as pleasant surprise.
Hey, I want them to look
There
at
you
my
go,
mind
yeah.
too.
wow.
You know, I have interesting things to say.
I'm
and
just
a lot
with
of
you. I'm
questions.
just with you for the money.
I'm okay with that.
Question for you, my brother. What was the evolution of Mr. Mocha from age 23 to now? How have you? I already know. I can already picture the stud. All right, at age 23, I can already picture that. You know what I mean? But what has been the evolution? How have you changed over the years? All right, and what has made you become that quality bull that we wish everybody would be, that we wish all the brothers would be?
Man, that's
Yeah, I went there.
that's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, I
a couple
went there.
decades worth of
Yeah.
good, bad, ugly, and growth. Man, from 23, you know, it was a lot happened from the first time that I stepped into the lifestyle. Because when you first get into it, you're kind of stumbling through the dark.
Mhm.
You learn. You usually learn what the people who brought you into it teach you. So, fortunately, my introduction was a very positive environment, which is probably why I stayed in the lifestyle and I was so intrigued because it was positive. But man, there was a lot of bumps along the way trying to figure out, how are you supposed to talk to somebody's wife? You know, how do you the understanding that, dude, it's so much. I don't even know where to start. Goodness gracious. Fucking, it's like going from a tadpole to a frog. I mean, it's just
Mhm.
huge, so many changes, as you move through it. The not knowing to starting to learn to knowing how to deal with couples, knowing how to deal with wives, knowing how to deal with husbands, learning that you have to, if you want to be successful, you have to have the ability to pay attention. Listening is a skill. And not just hearing words, but listening to what's being said underneath. One of the things
Say
that I
that.
love.
Say that again. Say that again for the viewers, because you just knocked that shit out of the park. Say that again, just in case our listeners didn't hear it. You know what I mean? Because that was a home run right there.
Listening is such a skill. People say things, but there are hidden messages that are embedded in what they say. You're looking at the facial
Preach.
expressions, how they behave. Whenever I deal with couples, I now put together like almost a grid, and in Socrates' language, my grid, the person they are when I'm online, the person they are when we're in public, the people they are when I speak to them individually, the face they show me when they're together, the energy that I see when I first start making physical contact, you know, how is she behaving? How is he behaving during sex? And what kind of energy I have after sex? And then after they processed it, what kind of energy do I have on the phone when we communicate later? All of those things is helps me paint a picture of them as individuals, them as a couple, how secure they are, how far along in their lifestyle journey they are, you know, how much on the same how much are they on the same page or not on the same page. And all of these things are skills that I've had to learn because not learning these things have created issues where you have problem with the husband's problem with the wife, them having problems together. The thing that I hate the most is being the guy, the person who's on the outside of the relationship, the experiences that I've had where the husband lies or the wife lies, and then they realize that they're lying, but then they don't want to blame each other, so then it's my fault. You know, how do I keep that from happening? You know, there's just there's so much stuff when you're saying going from starting off to being a quality bull. When I tell people that I've learned a lot of hard lessons, I think I gloss over it, so they gloss over it. But I've learned a lot of hard lessons because my nature is one extreme to the other. So when I got into the lifestyle, like I was full steam ahead. The lifestyle was my recreation. Fuck vacation. That was my vacation. That was my fun on the weekends, throughout the weekdays. Only thing I wanted to do was fuck. I didn't give a shit about nothing else. You know, if it was work, family, or fucking. That was it. So like I really dove into the lifestyle, you know, head first into the ocean. And so
No, dick first into the ocean.
I coughed up a lot of seawater in the process.
I got a question, Mr. Mocha. You when you look at people who like, I love the fact that you know, that he talks about the evolution of people. That's his focus, and I understand why. So when you look at the evolution of people, every time they come to a challenge or a success, there's a process in their brain that makes them end up in a better position later. So what I want to know is when you ran into
Wait,
a lot
say
of
that again?
okay, yeah. So what I've noticed about people who evolve to the level that Brian Morgan's talking about is that every time they come up to a challenge, like you talked about the couple that lied, the wife is lying and the husband's lying, they found out they're both lying, so then they blame you. Let's say that challenge. Or, you know, jealousy or any other issues that you come across in the lifestyle. What I notice is that people that evolve have a certain mindset at that challenge. They think of those challenges in a different way than those that don't evolve. So I want to know what your thought process is. When you have a challenge, are you looking at it like, okay, this is a challenge. How do I overcome this? Has it ever, you know, get you to the point where you're like, man, I want to be out of this? Or it makes you want to give up? Or what do you do? What goes on in the mind of Mr. Mocha when he's challenged to get better at something?
I think when it came to lifestyle stuff and situations in the lifestyle, my mindset is I want to understand. It's a relationship. The only difference is the type of relationship. And as a person, I want whatever I'm trying to give off is what I want to give off. So if I don't have bad intentions, I don't want you to take it that way. So if going into situations in the beginning, where things didn't go right, I would just kind of figure out what did I do wrong?
Mm.
Because oftentimes, for many years, I'll get pissed off, and I wouldn't say anything because it is what it is. I would just cut people off who I felt were being stupid, you know. But later on, I started saying, okay, how can I set myself up for success?
Mm.
So we've talked about many times the way I am when it comes to websites and things like that. I will miss out on a lot of couples because there's certain behaviors that I won't tolerate. And I won't tolerate those behaviors simply because 8 out of 10 times that behavior leads down this road. Now, of course, there's going to be 2 out of 10 times where it doesn't, but it's not worth it. It's not worth it. When I talk about behaviors and how people respond, I'm talking about how the people I've interacted respond to certain types of things. So I know I love being in lifestyle, and I also enjoyed with lifestyle couples. I wanted to make long-term friendships. So
Even when you first started in the lifestyle,
if
you were thinking that way, like long-term friendships with these people.
well, no, let me rephrase that. I wanted to have consistent fuck partners.
Get it?
All right.
The truth comes
To
out.
me, in the lifestyle, friendships are always friendships are not necessary. But I have found that I've gotten my best friendships through the lifestyle. So
Through the
Yep.
lifestyle.
Yep.
Yeah.
I consider you my
because
best friend.
we can fuck
Yeah,
and
I
not
met
be
you at a
friends.
convention. You know. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So but when I'm talking about when we're talking about people who I'm playing with, so we could fuck and just fuck. And whatever our arrangement is, I wanted that to be clear. If you say, hey, I just want you to fuck my wife and don't talk to her, cool. If you say, all right, I want you to fuck my wife and treat her like a boyfriend, like you're her boyfriend, cool. So I was always trying to figure out, okay, what do we want? But early on, I didn't get that from both the husband and the wife, and I didn't know how to kind of create this triangle where I was communicating with him, communicating with her, communicating with them. I run into trouble because I would just take one person's word. I remember a husband like, oh yeah, when she just wants you to pound her. And I'm like, I'm not really a pounder. Oh no, she loves that. So I go in and I start pounding, and she's like, okay, you're hurting me. And I stop, and he's like, no, keep going. And I'm like, whoa, it's no. And so what would happen early on when stuff like that would happen, I was conflicted. So what would wind up happening is my dick would start getting soft. So now you both lose because she don't want this. You want this, and now because you two are in conflict, I can't focus on the job at hand, so I got limp dick. So my goal was always
go ahead, finish.
What age? No, for me,
No, I was gonna ask Mocha, what age were you when you started to like see these things, like see that, okay, the husband wants one thing, I'm doing what he wants, but I can see that it's, the wife is not comfortable with this. You know what I'm saying? What age were you then? Were you still 23 then, or was this a couple of years?
So I stuck pretty tight in that particular circle because that was a big circle of people. And at the time, I was a massage therapist, so what they would always do was give each other gift certificates, massage gift certificates for me to come in.
Mhm.
It was a whole thing, which was like an inside joke
Ain't that
where
ain't that some shit? You a
yeah,
massage
it was like
therapist
yeah,
and me with personal training. That boy, I
yeah,
swear to God,
exactly.
we alike. God damn.
Right. Well, so I mean, that's what I did. You know, massage therapy, personal training, and nutrition. Those are my three.
Yeah.
So that was the thing. So I was in that group. I mean, that was a group of probably, I don't know, 15, 16 wives,
Damn
couples.
right. Yep.
So that, going through that. So I probably worked in that circle for about 2 years within the lifestyle. So in that circle, it was, I really didn't get that because I was kind of they were careful what they would say around me for the simple fact that they all knew that I was playing with their friends and things like that. So that was like happy land for me before I ventured out. So it was probably a couple years later when when I started playing outside of that circle and started realizing that everybody wasn't like them. And like, okay, well, everybody's not like these guys, you know, and that's when I started having issues because I just kind of went into it like, okay, whatever you guys say is what you mean. Because a lot of times couples will put this united front on like, oh yeah, yeah, we're good. No, you're not good, but that's what we find out. You start finding out later on down the road. So that was how. I mean, I stuck with the hot wifing, and I didn't even get into the cuckolding until, oh my goodness, cuckolding was it was probably, I don't know, maybe like 27 later on. It was swinging for a good amount of time in hot wifing. And my first real, like, obviously, like, now looking back, I realized that I was dealing with some cuckold couples, but it wasn't presented like that. The first cuckold experience I had was just kind of surprised me. Like, boom, she starts talking shit to her husband while I'm fucking her, and I'm thinking he's about to double pump drop kick this chick in the face. And he comes in like, she's saying she talking dirty. I'm like, God damn, like I'm like, should I get out the way? And then he's, oh, I'm so sorry, honey. And he sits down, and he's talking now. Oh, this is a game. And then I'm like, wait, does she think she's gonna talk to me like this? Let me go ahead and rearrange her guts. So we know that won't be allowed here. So I mean, so yeah, it was. There's just so many stages to it. It's like trying to describe an encyclopedia. It's so much.
But I think we drilled it down. I like the fact that you start off with where am I going wrong? And even though sometimes you're not doing anything wrong, is that accountability. And I think where Brian Morgan kicks in and he's talking about quality bulls, you can debate on what that means, but I think there's some generalities that we can all agree on. And accountability first is one of them to me. Like, I don't think you get to evolve without that. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. As I said one time before, every encounter that you have, you learn something, and here again, that's a part of the evolution. Um, you are supposed to our younger bulls out there that might be, listening or listening in the future. You are supposed to have fuck ups. That is how you learn. That's how you learn. You're supposed to have fuck ups. All right. If you were damn just perfect at 23 and 26 years old, then it would get boring very, very quickly, in my opinion. But because you do, like Mocha said, you learn. I mean, he learned. He evolved with every encounter that he had, sounds like. And then he was able to finally put together that equation that worked for him. And he did do that over time. That made him what he is now. Am I right, Mocha?
I'm still learning. I'm still learning.
Exactly.
I still have challenges.
Exactly. Exactly. As am I. And my old ass. I'm still learning. You know what I mean?
I think
learning.
as a dude, my biggest nemesis is my dick. My dick is my dick is my biggest adversary. When you start realizing like, hey, this situation is not a good idea. I know that based upon the behavior of this woman, this wife, this husband, this couple, I need to stop fucking her. But damn, she finding the pussy so good. I'll try one more time. It's your dick is always like the devil on both shoulders. So
hey,
don't get me wrong.
That's what Daddy said, boy. That little hair will ruin you.
Man,
that little hair will get you sometime, man. Where you just can't. You cannot think. As he would say, boy, you ain't got good sense when that little head is talking like that. You ain't got good sense, and he's right.
It's a fucking fight.
He is absolutely right. That's absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Been there, done that. Still, like I said, my old ass. I'm still having. You know what I mean? Even though I've calmed down a whole lot, but I'm still struggling with that shit sometimes.
Yeah,
I am.
Just making the good decision, and to go back to what I was saying to Socrates. To me, I think that it comes down to your personal nature. I'm one of those people that no matter what goes wrong, the first person I look at is me. What could I have done better? Because don't get me wrong, I'm definitely going to blame those motherfuckers at some point. But somebody can be wrong, but I can also try to figure out how to avoid getting myself into a situation again. So for me, I'm always trying to figure out how to avoid a particular type of situation. Now, when it comes to education, I pay very close attention to behaviors. How do people act? It took years, and this is embarrassing to say, it took years in the lifestyle for me to accept and understand that, when I was a single guy in the lifestyle, that I had the same rights that couples had, that I didn't have to answer for the behavior of other single guys because I didn't ask couples to answer for the behavior of other couples. Your wife is not my fucking queen, and I don't have to treat her like that. I can treat her with the same respect that she treats me with, and she doesn't get more respect than I get, and you don't get more respect than I get. Anything that is asked of me, I have the right to expect from you when it comes to respect. That was the thing that it took me a long time to come around to the lifestyle because, once I stepped out of that circle and started trying to go to clubs and other parties, I went from going to parties where everyone knew who I was to trying to get introduced to new groups and new parties, and they treat, everybody treats single guys like they had the plague, but everybody's still trying to suck your dick when nobody's looking, so it was kind of like, everybody act like they hate single guys.
I don't.
And well, you don't. Where you don't.
Right. I never understand that.
The expectation that people put on single guys, and my wife is my queen. My wife ain't nobody else's queen. You know what I'm saying? I respect any guy who comes and plays with my wife, but once again, that's because of my experiences. I roll out the red carpet for any guy who my wife plays with. I make sure when he comes to my home, he's comfortable, and my aura makes him comfortable. I make sure that I know that I can be intimidating. I know that if they've never met me, I do my best to let you know, hey, I appreciate you coming through. I'm gonna give you all the tips that I can give you. You know, feel comfortable, feel safe, blah blah blah. I make him feel comfortable. The things that people have said to me throughout the years, when motherfuckers say, "Oh well, you lucky that you get to fuck my wife." Like I don't say the dickhead shit that I want to say, but I'm thinking like, why the fuck am I lucky? Like, is she like what am I? She's used to fucking your 4-inch dick, and I'm the lucky one. Get the fuck out of here. She's lucky, but I don't come across with that attitude, you know. And so, but it took years for me to finally have the mentality where it's like, oh no, I can expect the same level of respect that I get.
Mr. Mocha, what do you
That
say
was
now?
also a big thing.
What do you
What do
say
I say
now?
as far as what?
Like if somebody does say that, like if you end up, you know, in the room with a couple, or you know, she goes away to the bathroom and he says that, man, you lucky to get to play with my wife. You let me tell you, like, what do you say? I mean, like verbally. I know what we saying in our
La-
heads.
laugh just like that. Laugh just like that because you know damn well what you know that you could say, especially when you done laid it down. You know what I'm saying? And then curl the
No, you can
toes
say
and all
that.
that shit.
You can say that before I fuck her. You can't say that after I fuck her. Hey. Here's the thing. It's different. It's how it's said. When it's me and the husband talking about the wife and we're just having fun banter about her. Oh, dude, you're so lucky. You're about to get her fucker. About to fuck her. She's so wet and ready. I'm cool with that. Like because I appreciate you sharing this pussy. I appreciate you sharing that energy. I appreciate the fact that you know you invited me out. You and your wife invited me out. You guys got me dinner, drinks. You got a great hotel room, and I'm gonna go up there and give her my very best. I want to blow her fucking mind. And in the meantime, with him and I bantering back and forth and talking about her and flirting with her and kind of doing the that interaction with the between the husband and the bull, where it's this, I'm giving him that energy that he wants, and I'm sharing, helping him bask in the glow that she's about to receive. That's different. But to have someone say, look, dude, you should be lucky in letting you fuck my wife. So, you know, if you can't come over this weekend, we'll just fucking find somebody else. At that point, I just say, well, you know something? You don't have to call me anymore. And the few times that's happened, it's, you know, some guy, you know, husband trying to be tough because, yeah, your wife is attractive, but look, she likes me as much as I like her. And clearly you got a whole bunch of guys who are just like me who are fucking her just the way I do. So get one of them motherfuckers to fuck her so you can talk to her crazy. So now when she's calling me and asking me, hey, did I do something to offend you? No, you didn't do anything to offend me. But if you talk to your husband, he'll explain to you our last conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because I know my worth. You know what I'm saying? Like I know statistically speaking what I provide. But when I first got into it, because I was compensating for all the horror stories I heard about all the single guys, and then I finally realized, no, there are a whole bunch of horror stories about single guys. There's not a whole bunch of horror stories. You know, I've done this exercise. Is like everybody talks about how bad single guys are. 1 in 10 people can say they've had a bad experience. And when I say bad experience, I'm not talking about bad sex. I'm not talking about bad body odor. I'm not talking about the guy is fucking weird. I'm not talking about some unattractive single guy in the club who tried to talk to you and said to you exactly what the attractive guy would have said, and you just suck the attractive guy's dick. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how many times have you ever had a single guy who was just downright disrespectful? That's 1 in 10. But everything else gets grouped into that. But it took me years to understand that. And so I was like extra cautious and compensating. And now I'm like, I'm not doing backflips. I'm going to give you whatever you give me. That's it.
Well said. Well said. We haven't heard from the queen bee of our podcast tonight, the lovely Siren. Siren, what's on your mind, babe?
I'm just listening, just soaking it in.
You just listening?
It's been a long day today, so I'm just quietly absorbing the information, taking it in, interjecting here and there. I just wanted to say about that, the single guys, that's kind of one of my, it's a little burr under my saddle ever since I've been in the lifestyle. Like Socrates and I travel a lot, and just visiting the different places that, on a prime night, they won't allow any single guys in. And I haven't had that many bad interactions, and I know other people have, but I'm just like, maybe we can set up a night for all of us women that want the single guys, and then the couples can hang out on their night, and then the rest of us can have the single guys come to us. Would that work? Can we spread the word on that?
You should ask your friends, but you got to ask them randomly. Don't challenge them, because then they'll make some shit up.
Right.
Ask them, like, what was their worst single guy interaction, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when they tell you, what's your worst 2 single guy interactions, right? And then if they tell you 2 that are bad, and then so how many single guys have you played with? If they've had played with like 200 single dudes and had 2 actually like bad situations, because I can tell you this, we get way more disrespect from couples than we do from single guys.
Mm-hmm.
Always. Like, we've always got more like weird situations where couples, cancel or just are no call, no show, or, the single guy, I know you've had this. You talk to a couple online, they reach out to you talk to them, then they just go silent, and then 3 months later, like 12 o'clock in the morning, they message you like, "Hey, she's ready. Wanna come fuck?
Are you up? Are you up?
It's like the lifestyle booty call.
1 o'clock. 1 o'clock in the motherfucking morning. I ain't heard from you in 2 damn months, and you gonna hit me up? Are you up? Can you come over? Yeah. Ooh, Lord.
So many times.
Yes.
So many times.
Yes.
We make it a policy at our
That's
house.
a standard issue.
Yeah, we don't cancel on people unless we are ill. Unless we are ill, or we're just like something turned with the vibe really hard, strong, hardcore. But we just try to be really honest with people and not ghost them, because there is so many situations like that, and it's just annoying. It's just like, just communicate. But I know people are afraid and all that good stuff. But even when I was single before the lifestyle, I just made that a policy. Like, I would not. That's why I'm married to Socrates now, is because I didn't cancel that night. Because I wanted to, because I was really tired. But I was like, no, this is my policy with myself, that if a man has the courage, and asks me out and makes a plan, then I show up, unless I'm really, really sick. So it's served me well to be married to him now. And then also, in the lifestyle, we do that, as a couple or individuals. It's like, just really, we give a cancellation fee or something. I don't know. There should be. I say so. No. Okay. No. I'll tell you another thing. So we have had the problem with single women and the no-show cancellation. This one bitch, I'm about like, hey, you got to put down a security
Mhm.
deposit before you're going to make another appointment with my husband and waste more of my time putting you on the schedule as the slut secretary. I got a cancellation fee now. So next time be credit card, $100 deposit, non-refundable. Show up.
Hey, listen.
But
No,
I don't think we've
I
had
always
any
talk about
dudes. We haven't
couples,
had any
but
dudes
single
cancel.
women's are the roughest.
Yeah, tell me about it.
And that's why I don't deal with the unicorns. That was a rule. That was a rule that my handler, uh, she was very adamant about when I was out there doing the escort thing. If it's a single, unless she really knew her, unless she really knew her and could vouch for her, it wasn't happening. She was like, "Baby, I'm not paying through that crazy shit." she said, "Women are foolish. They're absolutely foolish." She was like,
I
"You
can
know what?"
definitely see that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
she said,
we
"You
have
know
in their
exactly what
defense
you're
though,
going
we've had a
into."
lot of good ones. We have.
I'm about to say, hey,
Hey,
ladies,
no.
ladies, listeners, Socrates is down. I don't care if you're unicorn, call me up. No problem. I'm letting my brothers over here speak their piece, and these guys are wise sages that I
Yeah.
listen to. But I'm telling you right now, I ain't figured that out yet. Unicorns, holla at your boy. Thank you very much.
Yeah, just remember that you have to go through Siren for the actual dick appointment. So I just want you to show up. I want you to, because when you don't show up, then I gotta suck his dick twice as hard and twice as long.
Oh, Lord.
Ladies, I need some help. So if you're gonna make the appointment, do it. Just show up. I'm not scary. I won't be there with like a pitchfork or anything. I'll probably sprinkle the rose petals myself. Light the candles for you, please. And then plus, whenever he does have one, I usually go shopping. So that's a whole other thing. But yeah, some expensive
Wow.
pussy going on around here.
Hey,
Anyways, I
got
just
a
took that
I
over
got a
on the single
question.
guy thing.
I hear you. I got a question for everybody right now, and we go around the room, starting with Mocha, and then Socrates, and then Siren. Where do you all think this lifestyle is going now in the future? Where is it headed? And the reason I say this is because please let me finish. When this first came about, when hot wifing or even swinging first came about, it was so underground, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Now, here comes that word evolution. It is now so, and I think about these ladies that I had at my other job, that when we talked about, the world that I live in, the life that I live, and they were so damn like, please tell us all about it. You know what I mean? In the past, you couldn't have got those ladies to damn open their fucking mouth and ask me the questions that they were asking me, or to be like, or to say, damn, I wish I had a husband like that, or how can I approach my husband with an idea like that? You know what I mean? That's going from underground to above ground. So what I'm trying to say is, where do you guys think this life is going in the future? And here again, I hate the word lifestyle. Where do you think this life is going? I mean, uh, I look at Splash, and I look at the couples at Splash. You have a lot of couples now who are just like, fuck it. You know what I mean? This is who the fuck we are. We don't go back home and, to the vanilla. This is who the hell we are. Then we still have the ones who are still, we do our thing here. When we leave here, we turn back into that other couple. But in my experience going around different places, I have met a lot of people and a lot of couples that are just like, we aren't going to be vanilla anymore. This is who we are. All right. Family might know, some people might know, colleagues might know, et cetera, but we don't give a fuck. So that's why I'm asking. Where do you guys think this world is going?
I think that it's like everything else is perspective, right? And I'll say it like this. Until I was introduced to that world or this world, I was skating around it all day and never knew it was there. And once I was introduced to cuckolding, I started looking up information on it, and it was all over the fucking place. I think this lifestyle is it's not going to change. The fact of the matter is it's the same, and it's not there until you start looking for it. When you start looking for it, all of a sudden you realize, holy shit, this is all over the place. You know, when you talk to, we've got friends who are swing. Well, I mean, hell, the couple who I first started with, now they're in their 60s. You know, I mean, they're late 60s, and they had a whole world that was going on very actively that I had no idea existed. So I don't believe that it's so much that it's out there in everybody's face, but it's kind of like when as soon as you start looking, all of a sudden it's kind of like as soon as you buy a car, you didn't realize that every time you blink, there's that same car. Like, holy shit, how many of these fucking cars on the road? That's how lifestyle is. Like, you know, before you get into lifestyle, you know, that's just some shit you kind of hear about on TV or some weird ass, you know, reality TV show. And then you get into it and it's like, holy shit, I think the neighbors are swingers. You know, so I don't see there being. I kind of think that everything is the same. Nothing's changed. It's just, you know, we see it everywhere, and it can't hide from us anymore. The blinders are off for us, but most of the world still has the blinders on.
Good answer. Damn good answer. Socrates, Siren, or the both of y'all together?
Mine's gonna be, I don't know. Mine's gonna be long and complicated, so I don't know if Siren wants to go first.
Mine was, so go ahead.
Yeah, I'll be the happy little caboose at the end.
Okay. So before I say what I'm saying, to our listeners, I'm gonna be the biggest hypocrite in the room for this, but I'm gonna stand 10 toes down with it. And the reason why I say that is because by the time this episode comes out, we will be do our best to be on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, you know, YouTube. I plan to market this as heavily as possible. And so I say that, and I disagree with Mr. Mocha. I think a tide has changed, and I don't like it actually. So I want our community to grow in numbers and lessen in attention. And I think there's a better word for attention, but maybe I don't know. The public knowing about us. And here's why I say that. There's 3 reasons why I say a tide has changed. The first one is the biggest one and the most recent one: Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. That's one. The second was a sling. So I used to work for Dish Network, and they have what's called a sling thing. So it's like a online cable or internet cable. And one of their campaigns for like a year was slingers. And the whole premise of their campaign was that these dudes that look like the 1960s, overly like outwitted swingers, and it was like a whole commercial series on it. And then the third thing was Lisa Ling did a show on
Naughty in New Orleans.
Naughty in New Orleans. And to this day, like my barber brought it up and called it the upside down pineapple people. And I was just I was acting like I was like, I don't know anything about it, and I was just asking questions like I normally do. And this dude literally thought that swingers have a real pineapple hanging outside the door, and any rando can just knock on the door and then get it on.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. So I think
Common misconception.
I think it's going to grow in both categories, which I obviously like being in this community. It's going to grow in people. But I also think because of a fourth thing, and maybe this is the point that Mr. Mocha might be making, so I'll concede this. I see a lot of new TikTok and YouTube podcasters out there talking about this. And maybe that's where it's like, okay, what Mr. Mocha is talking about is the reticular activating system. So whenever your brain starts focusing on something, it sees it everywhere. So that one is probably just me, because I pretty much follow a lot of them, and the algorithm is just feeding it to me. But I don't think it's going to be good. And here's where I think it's going. I don't think it's going to be good because I also do notice what the vanilla world is saying about us. And the biggest trend that I've been following is that they associate us with P. Diddy. Like a swingers party I've heard vanilla, and nobody knows on my lifestyle. I've heard vanilla people just random twice, and I thought it was crazy. One was the post office talk about, what P. Diddy does is the same as what swingers do. And
I find that comical.
yeah, and I've seen it a lot on TikTok, but I'm on TikTok a lot. And then secondly, I'll say that I think with politically us moving more conservative, I don't think it's going to be viewed as cool, even though most, statistically, most swingers in the swinger category and not the poly category are conservative. I don't think it's going in the right direction. And I don't think the attention we're getting, because like when you watch Secret Lives, they just put up there all the hashtags, hot wife, swinger, all of them, cuckold. They put it all up there real fast. And I'm like, these people did like 3 things on the show. Like, and it's even debatable if they did any kind of real ethical non-monogamy stuff.
It's not even a main part of
Yeah,
it.
it's not even
mentioned a few times.
And the only reason why they got a show is because they talked about the swinger stuff, but they were really kind of just big Mormon TikTokers, and then that blew them up. So it's like, I think it's going to have negative repercussions. I think there's already a state, in the Northwest that's now made it illegal to be in ethical non-monogamy. And to answer your question.
We lost you for a second there.
Oh.
Yeah.
You blinked out for a second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I said,
but keep going.
The last part I said was there's even a state in the Northeast that's now made swinging illegal. And so I don't see a good trend. And like I said, I'm being a hypocrite because I want to market the hell out of this show because I believe in it, and Siren show and any other ones. But, that's really just because I'm like, well, you can either, I used to be a surfer, and I'm like, you can either ride the wave and try to survive it in, or you can try to be under it. And I'm just riding it, but I don't think it's going in a good direction.
It's so interesting because in a lot of situations, I'm the negative sorter, and then you are just a negative sorter here with this situation. And I feel like really excited actually and hopeful. And if we had fuck you money, I would already be like posting it on Facebook. Like, here is my X account and, whatever, here's my podcast, here's everything. And if you don't like it, fuck you. But I'm following my husband and his leadership and his vision and, slow rolling that. But I'd be out already. I'm tired of it, So for a while there, it was like anybody that did a personal service for me, like massage or anything else, I would tell them all about it. And my husband was like, can you please slow down a little bit? I'm trying to get that fuck you money, and then you can tell everybody that you want to. I think eventually, because, my daughter who's in her 20s knows, and she could care less. Few of her friends know. They're like, whatever. They don't even talk about it. It's just going to be.
We also live in the same state who a friend of ours just said another friend of hers lost her job off of the rumor that she was one. And we're not also to mention that somebody didn't show up to our wedding because of it. So it is not like, don't get me wrong, I love this lifestyle. It introduced me to some of my best friends. And we have businesses and we have based on this community. I love it. But I'm not.
But I think you're saying what I was saying. You're saying exactly what I was saying, that shit stopped changing. 20 years ago, you'd have lost your job if you found out you were a swinger. I mean, swinging will always have a certain type of negative connotation on it because you have so many people out there who want to keep it a secret. Yeah, they want to keep it a secret. You know, there's in my opinion, going according to what you just said, you know, if it was going in the direction that I think that you say it's going in, that means you start having states saying, hey, don't worry about the swinging. In my opinion, I think that, you know, you can be part of the LGBTQ community, no problem. But people still look down on lifestylers and swingers and people who are in ethical non-monogamous relationships because there are so many people who are in positions of power who understand the importance of keeping that side of their life secret. And so, yeah, I definitely think that there's a lot of people who does not want this to become something that's bigger than it is. And the fact of the matter is, yeah, for us, our eyes are open to this particular thing. But it's kind of like you're saying all of a sudden there's 50, 1,000 new shows and 1,000 new places to access the lifestyle information. That's true. But there's a million other things that are being thrown out there when it comes to all the other things that we are told to accept and that's being pushed onto the community that still keeps the LS community at the same level. You know what I'm saying? So to me, because I talk to people every day who they've heard about it, but they don't know anything about it. But now as soon as they start researching, it's like, holy shit, you could find this. I mean, you gotta remember, you can go back to the 70s and find swingers clubs. There's been swingers clubs popping since the 70s.
Swinging period has been popping.
You take swinging back further than that, and then we're only talking about U.S. We're not even talking about European stuff. And then when we just talk about the concept of sex and things like that, let's start looking at history. We can take this all the way back to fucking Rome if we want to. So the same people who are interested in it, those are the people who are going to dive into it. You know what I'm saying? The chicks that are interested in getting fisted, they can find fisting material everywhere. You know what I'm saying? The chicks that are, the people that are interested in anal, you can find anal everywhere. But once you start finally looking for it, it's like, man, a lot more people like that than I thought. Anything that you look at, you're going to realize that you're a cross section of the world. So anything that you can think of, you can find a million people who think the same shit. You know what I'm saying? And now with social media being what it is, there's a lot more access to people who have the same viewpoints you have. That's why our political situation is so fucked up, because everybody can find somebody with their exact same opinion. Sex is the same.
Siren?
Well, I just want to talk about it because I have a large group of friends that I've told, that are vanilla, that are just like, oh yeah, that seems like something you'd be into. And then they feel free to ask questions. And even if they don't want to participate, now it's just like a normal topic to them. They're like, oh yeah, we just talk about it. Every month at Ladies Bunko, we just talk about it, and then they ask questions. And that's my opportunity to educate them. So I'm not saying, I just think we're going to be another letter eventually. Just like, however many years ago being gay was like such a big deal. And now it's just pretty much like everybody's, knows someone who's gay, trans, or anything else. So my mindset is to think that if I have anything to do with it, in my small little pool of the world, I just want, and that's what the goal of my podcast is too, is just to get people to normalize, especially women, just talking about their sexuality and talking about their sexual journey. Because then when they get to the Siren After Dark portion and they find out what's on that side of it, I'm trying to lead them into that to find out the information. It's not just about like them being curious and looking for it. It's like some of the women, at Bunko, they're like, oh, what is that all about? And then, yeah, some of them have some pretty twisted things, about what swinging might be or what the lifestyle's all about. But I just love the opportunity to be able to educate them. And since they already respect me as a person, I don't feel like, I can't think of anybody that has negatively replied, or they were damn good at hiding it, So obviously I don't know all their internal thoughts and feelings, but it doesn't seem to have changed too many of my relationships and friendships. Except like my husband mentioned, the one person, that called and said they weren't coming to our wedding because of it. But, that was more carne asada tacos for me. Well, I was really upset about it, actually.
Well,
'Cause
that's just
it's a longtime friend that did this, but, some will and some won't, But I want to be myself, and I've been waited a long time to be myself.
well. Let me say this. That's just one. Uh, idiot that just doesn't get it. All right, and
Not,
you're
not
gonna have
wrong.
people like that, and you're gonna have people like that, and so be it. All right, let them live their life.
Yeah.
Period.
And they're missing
I
out.
know.
They're
I
missing out.
exactly. I know in my situation, when I decided to be myself, and if you ask me, or if I hear somebody talking about it and you ask me something, and I start to talk, and I didn't realize it, but I start to educate them on this life and how this life has really benefited so many couples positively in their relationship and in their marriage. Um, and I tell them that it's not about me, out there just trying to have sex. I was like, I am actually blending in and helping these other couples, and I tell them when I go to these events, I meet some of the happiest married couples in the freaking world. Um, and after I talk to them like that, such as the ladies that I talk to, they start to get it. You know what I mean? And like Mocha said, they start doing their research and they realize, oh my God, this this is a whole nother world, and I'm intrigued by it. You know, um, and it's a damn shame that uh, so many, and here I am talking about these vanilla husbands now, because the wives, they want to go back and down talk about shit. They want to bring it up to them, but a lot of these husbands, here again, they are just, depending on where you come from. Like here I am down here in the South, that they just don't get it. They just don't get it, and it's a shame. It really is a shame. I think that I'm 50-50 on this. I think there's a part of me that thinks a percentage of people and of couples will, you know, come out and just, live this life and take it further. And then I think there's another 50% of me that is kind of like maybe Socrates, and it's just not gonna happen. Why, I don't know, because what are you doing wrong? When I ask the question, what am I doing wrong? They can't give me a fucking answer.
Yeah, we're not hurting anyone.
Did y'all understand what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? We ain't hurting a damn. We're not hurting anyone. We're not hurting anyone. Nobody. Everybody is understanding and knows what the other one is doing, Everybody's talked about it. You know what I mean? Open-minded, open communication, no lying, no cheating, no nothing.
Right.
So how are we hurting somebody? You know, how are we hurting somebody? So that's where I stand. Oh, and last but not least, to my baby girl in the last week or two has had a couple of conversations with some ladies that she knows, and I guess they got the vibe from her in conversation. So they asked her, you know, like, in other words, what do you, what's your life like? What are you into? So she told them. She told them about, having a husband and a boyfriend, and it turned into, she said, two of the greatest conversations that she has ever had with two women. And the women were like, "Oh my freaking God, that is absolutely," after she explained everything to them, "that's absolutely wonderful." Wonderful, quote unquote. I wish I had that.
Yeah, I've had a lot
Yes,
of positivity
yes,
talking to other
yeah.
women.
She just had that. Exactly. She just had one of those conversations today. Today, when she got a massage, she couldn't help. I mean, she couldn't wait to call me and let me know, baby. Guess what just happened? You know, her masseuse was. They sat there and talked after the massage was over with, and she had a great conversation with her. Great conversation. So don't sit here and tell me that people don't don't want to know about this life. Don't tell me they're not curious. Don't tell me they're not, a lot of people, y'all, wish or want to be a part of the world that we live and love on a daily basis. They do. They really do. Um, and here again, it's up for the four of us. It's up for the four of us, along with the other members, to educate.
Exactly.
Educate.
Facts.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
don't. I mean, when you hear somebody talking about it, and they may, ask you something about it or whatever, God damn it, tell them. Don't ask me no shit. I tell people right. I tell people quick. Don't ask me something. You don't. You ask the right dude. Okay, you ask the right guy, because I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you. I don't shy away from anything. I don't. This is who I am. This is it. You know. And I just hope that that this grows. I really do. I hope that this grows. And obviously it is, because you're having these, uh, um, Lisa Ling and all these other TV shows, et cetera, et cetera. So it's, I think it's going to grow. I do. I think it's going to grow, and I'm so glad to be a part of it, and I'm so glad to have my family right here with me here again in this evolution of growth.
Hey, I'm with it. I agree with you said. I definitely think everybody's interested in it. You know,
Big time.
everyone is interested in anything there's very few people who are not interested in certain things. Now, don't get me wrong. People will ill, oh my God, I can't believe you do that. While they're watching, like, oh my, look at that. I can't believe you're letting somebody do this to your wife. But they're going to ask you questions. They want to know about all the stuff that they're pretending like they're not interested in. So I definitely think that people want to know. But I also think that a whole lot more people than not want to keep it secret. We are a part of a 1% of, we're 1% of the 1% of people in the lifestyle. And that 1% is the people who are actually open, out there, advocating, happy to talk about it, happy to interact, happy to engage. But most people, are very, very cautious. They want this to be private. They don't want people to know what they're doing. So that's what I mean when I say the direction of this particular lifestyle, no matter what, it's going to be the same as it's always been, for the simple fact that you know, we are a very small part of a very, very small community. You know, when we compare it to the rest of the world
Yeah.
that are interested in sharing our stories and hearing people. So the amount of people that's going to listen to us will far, far, far exceed the amount of people who will admit to joining in our debauchery. You know, a lot more than
Oh yeah.
people will listen,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you know, only a small percentage of those people are going to be brave enough to even speak about it. You know, the beauty about the internet is those people who are scared now they can go and privacy of their own home and look up podcasts and look up information and look at a lot of these bullshit ass shows that don't even shows lifestyle and the swinging or hot wifing or cuckolding in the right light. But you know, it's still fantasy to people. You know, so that's why when I say I think that it's gonna kind of stay on the same trajectory. I think lots of people will continue getting into the lifestyle because there are a lot more people in the lifestyle. For whatever number you think there is, there's a whole lot more who are very, very discreet. You know, and that's just how they're happy being. Most most lifestylers don't want to be put on. They don't want a letter. They don't want nobody to know that they're a part of anything. Just leave us in the shadows. You know, let my wife go suck some dick. You know, and I don't want nobody to know about it. I'm pretend like oh my God, your wife sucks dick, you fucking weirdo. Honey, make sure you're not sucking the same dick that guy that she's sucking. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how it really works. You know, it's still a secret society. You know what I'm saying? People still want that you know that discretion. You know, even when I'm looking on websites, I still have people say to me, "Hey, I'm looking for discretion." Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
perfectly fine with that. Like, I'm not gonna be yelling your name from the rooftops. I fuck Jenny. I fuck Jenny. Like, I'm not gonna do that. You know,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep my mouth shut so I can have some more.
Yeah.
Yeah, we never talk
Yeah.
about
And
our play partners, but I talk about myself to my friends. I'll tell stories, but I don't.
Mhm.
We're very discreet in like that stuff. But I just like to talk about it. I like the life. I love the lifestyle. I love being in it and with it, and I just like talking about it. That's why these podcasts are so fun too. So
Yep.
yeah, I'm just free. I'm just free with my shit. I'm free with it. I'm like you all. No, I'm not bringing in my partners. My play partners. No. It is about their discretion. But if you're asking me, how things are in the lifestyle, what's a typical, like, if you meet somebody, how does that go? Then I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you. And most of the time they're like, okay, I didn't know that it was like that. You know what I mean? They just think you just meet somebody, pull your dick out, go fuck this, that, da da da. No, they don't realize that okay, I'm a bull who gets tested every 30 days. I'm a bull that when you meet me impeccable, hygiene, impeccable manners. If I tell you I'm gonna be at your house at 3 o'clock, at 5 till 3, the car is pulling into the driveway. Okay, there's a certain sequence of events that I go through. They don't realize that. They don't realize that. They don't realize that like couples sit down and talk amongst themselves openly and honestly. No, they're not trying to hurt the other one. Okay, they're being honest. This is what I wish that we could do together, or this is what I fantasize about, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So it's so much more than just all of the negative bullshit that's put on television and so much damn more, so much more.
Well,
Um,
Unc, I
and I
want
just
to.
want one.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I thought you were finished.
No, 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 no. I'm done. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, Unc, I was going to say I want to bring, Mr. Mocha back on here. We need to do a part two because I think we only got to age 27. we ain't even got to,
I know,
we
right?
ain't even got to
I
Mrs.
know. I
Mocha
know.
and, all of his
Exactly. So much more.
escapades
So much
in,
more.
in the city he lives in. So I think we should do a part two for sure.
Definitely. Definitely has to be a part two.
Hey, look,
Yeah,
you just say when.
she
It
definitely
ain't
will.
like the three of us don't talk all the time,
All
so
right,
you just
every
say when
day.
and I'm
Exactly.
in. I'm telling you.
I know, right? I know. Definitely has been this has been real. I've enjoyed it so much. Um and then damn, there's some thunder going on in the background. And here again, man, I don't know what to say, bro. You guys have brought me out of a shell. You really have. You brought me out of a shell, and it's getting better and better. I mean, it really is getting better and better because I have been the president and CEO of Me Incorporated for so damn long, and it just feels good, man, to have some true friends and some true friends who I call family. All right, love y'all. I do love y'all to
Love you
death.
back, brother.
Back at you. Yep,
Love
back at
Love
you.
you.
y'all to death. Love y'all to death. And this to the people out there listening, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning of this beautiful journey of all the family. All right, we're gonna bring this shit raw, unfiltered, uncensored, teaching, mentoring, and getting everybody, used to what this life is all about.
Well, Mr. Mocha, you wanna,
Hey, I appreciate you having me on.
Hey man, like I said, just the start of many, brother. Just the start of many.
Mr. Mocha,
Believe.
let them know where they can find you at, bro.
So you can find me and my wife on the O Faces, OFACEZ podcast, and you can find us wherever you get your podcast. My wife is the star of the show with her antics, and on the podcast on O Faces, you'll hear all of these people on there because they family. So we talk to them all the time. We get on there, and I mean, honestly, I think that we've always said 90% of the conversations we have off air, we get through them like, damn, we should have recorded that.
Yep,
So
yep.
we're gonna start getting together at recording our random thoughts. That's a new segment that I'm gonna create where it's literally just random thoughts where we get on and we just throw things out there because and you guys will see, especially as your platform begins to develop, you get a lot of people who just throw random things at you, random questions, random thoughts, and then you're like, wow, who can I call and throw this at? And a lot of times, I'll call and, throw stuff at the Sigma male or Socrates or Mike, so next time somebody throws something at me, you can check out the Old Faces podcast while I hot potato it to one of the
True. Oh man, Socrates, Simon, y'all got anything to say before we close this one out? I guess.
My lovely wife, you want to go first?
I just feel privileged to just be a little bit of feminine energy in this space. So I've enjoyed you fellas, and I always enjoy the podcast. I say I may go in a little tired after a long day, but I always just feel like my spirit is renewed and refreshed after sitting and talking to you guys and listening. I love it. Thank you guys.
You are the queen of the show,
Thank you, sir.
nephew.
Yeah, so really quick, I'm gonna make this quick. So I consider Mr. Mocha one of my best friends. Like this guy, I'll take a bullet for this man. Like this brother showed me what being a part of a brotherhood really means. And I have
I
to
love
thank,
you back, man. I appreciate that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I have to thank my wife because if it wasn't for her insisting on black dick, and I there's two things she made me do. First, she made me look up, conventions or hotel takeovers that have some brothers at, and I was like, okay, there's two I know about. We ended up at Splash Mocha. Then secondly, she saw, you know, Dark Gable over here, the Man of Steel. And she's like, well, I want to get to
Yes,
know,
sir.
I want to get to
Hey
know
Yes,
man,
him.
sir.
listen. You gotta stop making people think this. They're gonna see me like, what the fuck is wrong with these guys?
And she said,
Uh,
she said, talk to him for me, Daddy. And I wrote up to him, and then, I found a friend. I found somebody that elevates me and challenges me, and holds me accountable, but at the same time loves the shit out of me. So I just want to say, you guys check his podcast out, and you learn so much. I listened to it before I met him. I didn't even realize that was him. And then, I'm just so excited about what all of us have in store for the future.
Hey, I appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely. A wealth of knowledge, ladies and gentlemen. He is a wealth of knowledge. All right. Um, my brother from another mother. He's a gentleman. He's a family man. Um, hell, I don't know what to say about this motherfucker. That's my dog. That's all there is to it. He is my dog. He really is. And again, love you, love you, man. I mean, that's it. Just love you. You and Socrates. You guys don't know what you mean to me. You really don't.
Yeah, we do. We mean the same thing to each other, so
Exactly.
we know.
Yep.
We know.
Yep.
All right.
Hey, as much time we spend talking to each other, we know.
Yeah, we do. We damn sure do. And like I said, it's just getting better, man. Just getting better. And I guess on that note, if everybody said what they have said, we'll go ahead and close it out. As usual, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Thank you so much for being a part of another exciting and wonderful and informative podcast, The Bull Brotherhood. And a special shout out to our special guest, Mr. Mocha. I'm the Sigma male, B. Morgan. And for Socrates and Siren, we just give a shout out to all the brothers out there, all of our bulls, saying good night. And of course, to all of my hot wives, good morning. Auf Wiedersehen, choose. Bye-bye. Good night.